This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. We begin tonight with the subject of freedom, not quite at hand, but very close. It is 4 months now since the Iraqis invaded Kuwait and thousands of foreigners went into hiding. They are all on the verge of being free. And so are the 8 American diplomats who've been toughing it out at the U.S. Embassy in Kuwait, surrounded by the Iraqis, and until a few days ago cut off from fresh food. They still have no electricity. The U.S. is going to close the embassy down. Here's ABC's John McQuinn.
The U.S. Embassy in Kuwait and its small staff has been a symbol of America's refusal to bend to Iraqi demands. The State Department says the 8 diplomats will leave once all Americans who want to get out of Kuwait are gone.
The principal function of our embassy in Kuwait City has been to work for the safe release of all Americans in Kuwait.
The State Department rationale for abandoning the embassy is that Ambassador Nathaniel Howell and his staff will have completed this job of representing Americans in Kuwait and can be of little additional use since they are virtually prisoners in the embassy. U.S. sources say there is another critical reason. It would remove from Kuwait the last Americans, thus clearing the decks for U.S. military action should President Bush decide that is necessary. Officials say it sends another signal to Baghdad that the military option is alive and well if Saddam Hussein decides not to withdraw. In an interview with Ted Koppel to be aired on tonight's Nightline, Iraqi Foreign Minister Tariq Aziz today indicated getting the U.S. to leave the embassy was a victory for Iraq.
They should leave. We asked all the previous embassies in Kuwait to leave long ago.
But before the embassy is abandoned, the hostages must all be freed. There was little progress on that front today as America's top diplomat in Baghdad, Joe Wilson, presented U.S. requests.
He asked that Americans in Baghdad be able to go to the airport and leave on flights today.
The Iraqis said no, it will take time. Foreign Minister Aziz said everyone will eventually be allowed to leave, including those who have been in hiding.
I cannot say how many days, but it won't be a long time. They should not be worried. Their loved ones will be home very soon.
But the U.S. is worried. Those Americans in hiding are being urged to stay there until the Iraqi government says exactly when they can leave and how. John McQuethy, ABC News, the State Department.
A British Airways jet arrived in Jordan's capital, Amman, this evening, ready to pick up the first British citizens when they finally get the green light. On board, food, medicine, and 400 bottles of champagne. ABC's Karen Burns reports from Baghdad itself tonight that there is a generally good feeling in the city that this chapter of the Gulf crisis is ending.
Friday is Holy Day in Iraq, a day of prayer. On this day, the mood in this country seemed to soften. Iraqis prayed for peace. Today, one said, if anyone offers you peace, go his way, all the way. At the same time, the Iraqi National Assembly met and finally voted to release all foreign hostages being held in Iraq or hiding in Kuwait. The vote was 235 in favor and 15 opposed. The vote was an affirmation of Saddam Hussein's wishes and his position that holding foreigners had prevented war, while at the same time giving Iraq a chance to build up military forces. But even here, the Iraqis apologized for holding the hostages, saying they had to defend themselves. For the hostages, word of the vote had a powerful impact.
I can finally relax. Please control.
Ed Hale's 17-year-old son, Kevin, flew alone to Iraq to try to rescue his father. His mother is at home, seriously ill.
I was ready for death.
You were ready for death?
Yes.
Mr. Hamid took his first steps toward freedom today. He was allowed to walk around a hotel parking lot. He'd been hiding in the U.S. Embassy in Kuwait until late last month.
I was in a war zone. I was surrounded. We were all surrounded. I mean, you know, when you see the AK-47s, you see the RPGs, you see people with gas masks, you see soldiers. It wasn't a picnic.
Tonight, celebrations began, and Mr. Hamid got his American passport back.
I'm free. I'm free.
But Mr. Hamid still needs an exit visa. Karen Burns, ABC News, Baghdad.
When we come back, winter in the desert of Saudi Arabia when prayers for rain are actually answered. The first reporter in orbit. $12 million for the right to be space sick. And on this Friday, our person of the week, the significance of a little progress.